Hi everyone. Hi. Thank you for joining me. I'm back with another Alex Murdaugh update on his trial. This time we're going to talk about the defense team, Alex Murdaugh's defense team. They filed a new brief today, January 11th. They filed this brief for their motions hearing for a new trial. So let's see what, I'm going to read this article here from Fitz News. All right, so attorneys for convicted killer Alex Murdaugh laid out how they believe an upcoming evidentiary hearing into seismic jury tampering allegations should be conducted, listing the witnesses they plan to call, the exhibits they intend to introduce, and further laying out their case that Murdaugh deserves a new trial. Murdaugh's lawyers, Dick Harpootlian, Jim Griffin, Philip Barber, and Margaret Fox, submitted their latest brief to the South Carolina Supreme Court on Wednesday, January 10th, and prosecutors for the state of South Carolina, who successfully prosecuted Murdaugh on murder charges last spring, are expected to file a similar brief this week. According to Murdaugh lawyers, they currently find themselves at a disadvantage because the state, specifically prosecutors working for Attorney General Alan Wilson, have had the opportunity to conduct discovery for the past several months on the jury tampering allegations at the heart of the case. As such, the state is well prepared to bolster its witnesses and to impeach witnesses favorable to the defense. Quote, Mr. Murdaugh has been unable to conduct any discovery whatsoever, end quote, his attorneys alleged in the brief, arguing he, quote, received discovery from the state less than a week ago, end quote. That's not a whole lot of time to get through and to prepare for a hearing. So a disgraced, disbarred lawyer and scion of one of the Palmetto State's most powerful legal dynasties, Murdaugh was convicted on March 2nd, 2023, of killing his wife, 52-year-old Maggie Murdaugh, and younger son, 22-year-old Paul Murdaugh, at the family's hunting property near Islandtown, South Carolina. The following day, March 3rd, he was sentenced to consecutive life terms for those crimes by South Carolina Circuit Court Judge Clifton Newman. Murdaugh's trial was an international circus, the trial of the century in the Palmetto State, and allegedly profiting from the notoriety was the one official who should have been above reproach, Colleton County Clerk of Court Becky Hill. Hill's office oversaw the administration of the trial, but she has since been accused of tampering with the jury, including allegedly engaging in a conspiracy to have a juror believed to be favorable to Murdaugh removed. Her alleged objective, obtaining a guilty verdict so that she could sell copies of her book, Behind the Doors of Justice, which she's also accused of plagiarizing portions of it as well, which she's actually admitted to at this point in time. So Hill is expected to be called as a witness for the state, although her potential testimony is up in the air given that she is currently under criminal investigation over the jury tampering allegations, as well as a separate criminal inquiry seeking to determine whether she, quote, used her elected position for financial gain, end quote. Hill is also the focus of a pair of investigations being led by the South Carolina State Ethics Commission. One investigation seeks to determine whether she unethically and potentially unlawfully used her office to enrich herself by obtaining and releasing confidential information related to the Murdaugh trial. The other seeks to determine whether Hill misappropriated public funds from multiple accounts and then allegedly misrepresented those misappropriations to county officials. Wow. So, yeah, it just gets deeper and deeper for Becky Hill. Recent revelations also point to the distinct possibility that Hill and her son, former Colleton County Information Technology Director Jeffrey Colt Hill, obstructed justice in an attempt to short-circuit these investigations. Jeffrey Hill has already been charged by agents of the state law of SLED with one count of wiretapping in connection with the ongoing investigation. Hill has denied all wrongdoing and specifically submitted an affidavit denying the jury tampering allegations. If Hill were to take the stand, Murdaugh's attorneys indicated they planned to cross-examine her using her emails, text messages, telephone records, her book, recordings of her public statements and media interviews, and her affidavit in this matter, end quote, among other things. There's certainly a lot that they have that they could use against her, in my humble opinion, from what I've seen from following this. In its brief filed on Thursday, Murdaugh's attorneys indicated their plans to call 4 jurors and Barnwell County Clerk of Court Rhonda McIlveen to testify. They also indicated that depending on Becky Hill's testimony, they reserved the right to call her son to the stand, as well as Judge Newman and 2 Colleton County Clerk of Court staffers Laura Hayes and Lori Weiss. According to the motion, McIlveen will, quote, corroborate expected juror testimony, end quote, about tampering by testifying that Hill made, quote, substantively identical statements, end quote, to her during the trial, and, quote, because she received several complaints from court staff about Miss Hill having inappropriate and excessive contact with jurors, end quote. So McIlveen has been described by Hill as the tick to my talk, the Thelma to my Louise. So this is someone that Hill seems to be very close with, or claims to have a close relationship with. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Rhonda, quote, Rhonda and I will be friends until we die, end quote, Hill wrote of McIlveen in her book. She knows too many of my, quote, she knows too many of my secrets, so I'll have to keep her nearby, end quote. So, Becky's own admission, McIlveen knows a lot about her, including her own secrets. Of particular interest, Murdaugh's attorneys reserve the right to call Tim Stone, the ex-husband of the egg juror, whose controversial dismissal from the jury on the morning of the verdicts paved the way for Murdaugh's guilty verdict. Murdaugh's attorneys also reserve the right to call Timothy Stone, who originally authored a Facebook post that was presented to Judge Newman as evidence of egg juror allegedly discussing the case in violation of his orders. So if you remember, Becky Hill produced a Facebook post from a Tim Stone, she claimed to have been the husband of Becky Hill. Or, I'm sorry, not of Becky Hill, of the egg juror lady. And this post said something about can't remember exactly what it was, but it had something to do along the lines of um, drinking with the wife and whatnot, and um, whatever it was. Uh, he said he was sorry or what. I cannot remember what it is now. This is gonna bother me. I might have to look that up. But anyways, um, Becky Hill alleged that this particular Facebook post was from the egg juror lady's husband, and it was evidence to mean that the egg juror lady had actually talked to someone about the case, meaning her ex-husband. It was her ex-husband, and she hadn't talked to him in years. So it was actually this other Timothy Stone who originally posted it, and he later explained what it was about, and it had absolutely nothing to do with anything because he didn't even know the egg juror lady. So yeah, so it was proved to be a false allegation against the egg juror lady for talking about the case. If called to testify, Newman is expected to be questioned about Becky Hill's alleged interrogation of the egg juror outside of his presence, which he indicated on the trial transcript as something that displeased him. And I remember that. I remember him saying that and kind of thinking, wow, that's not good. So, anyways, a public status conference in the case has been scheduled for next Tuesday, January 16th, at the Richland County Courthouse in downtown Columbia, South Carolina. The retrial hearing itself will be held in the same courtroom beginning January 29th. If you want to learn more about the egg juror and more about that story, you can visit Fitz News, and they've covered a whole, I'm sure they've done many, many articles on it in depth. So if you want more information on that, feel free to visit them there. And don't forget to please hit the like and subscribe and comment. Let me know what you think. What do you think about the egg juror lady's supposed ex-husband writing something on Facebook? What did I forget? Let me know if you remember what he said specifically. I can't remember. And what do you think of the defense being able to call Ms. Becky's Thelma to her Louise to the stand if they decide to ask for her testimony? That would be really interesting to see if we have someone who is supposed to be really close with Miss Hill talk about the fact that yes, she was indeed doing these things or saying these things. It would be interesting to see if she corroborates. All right, so what specifically about the Murdaugh trial interests you? Let me know in the comments below, and I will be sure to do a video on it. Thanks. Take care. Bye.